So what was life like living in the tower?
I would be lying if I said it was easy. First, there were rules, and we were constantly watched to make sure we behaved appropriately. Then there was the study of magic. We had to cast the spells just so, control the effects completely. A single word spoken incorrectly, a gesture out of sync, and lack
So
of
it was
focus.
pretty much Hogwarts.
And we needed to have perfect focus, or we would be in danger.
No, I take that back. I do not want to compare Harry Potter to Dragon Age. Good lord, no. Not that I'm saying Harry Potter's, or that, I'm just not a fan of it, not that I'm saying I hate it or anything. I just never got into it. I just think this is really good from, you know what, forget I said it. Forget I said anything. I don't know how to properly explain my position on that. Danger from what?
From fade spirits. If we were careless, they would enter our minds, and we would become abominations. Without the circle and my mentors, I would not have been where I am today. And there was joy in life at the circle. The joys of fellowship, in knowing that you were not alone in your struggles. In spite of everything, I was happy in the tower, and I loved it.
Alright, that's it. Okay, so I think that is it for now with Wynn, before I give her a gift. So before we do that, let's talk to Zevran.
Here I am.
Yes, here you are. Care to answer some questions?
Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
So what does it take to become an assassin?
Well, the Crows would have you believe that it is an involved process that takes years of training. The sort that tests both your resolve and your endurance. Survive that process and maybe, just maybe, you're good enough to start being considered one of them. But quite frankly, the truth is that all it requires is the desire to kill people for a living. It's surprising how well one can do in such a field.
So it doesn't take any special skills?
I don't know about that. It's simply a slightly different skill set from your average killer.
Mikey, will you quiet down? I'm trying to
An
talk to
assassin simply
Zevran.
specializes in striking from stealth, and in maximizing that first attack to be as lethal as possible. Debilitate your foe, either by poison or by crippling their limbs, makes any follow-up combat you need to engage in that much simpler.
Do you always use poison then?
I do. It is not something inherent in an assassin's skills, however, merely something complementary. Of course, the Crows like to pretend that their abilities are trade secrets, shrouded in shadows and wrapped in a blanket
so
of mystery.
mysterious.
So let's just keep this between you and me, shall we?
As
Here
if
I
they're
am.
listening in. So can you teach others to become an assassin?
Oh, I certainly could, but I won't. I swore to the Crows that the things they taught me were to remain a secret. And while, yes, they are already angry at me, I'd rather not push things, you see.
Very well, I'll respect your word.
If you are truly insistent, well, let me think about it. The Crows are already angry at me, yes? Who knows?
We just gotta boost up his approval.
Here I am.
Alright. Questions?
Oh, this should
Why
be
did you
good.
want to
Go
leave the
ahead.
Crows exactly?
Well, now, I imagine that's a very fair question. Being an assassin, after all, is a living, at least as far
It's
as
a
such
living.
things go. I was simply never given the opportunity to choose another way. So, if that choice presents itself, why should I not seize upon it?
You were never given the choice, huh? So you didn't choose to join the Crows?
To be truthful, I didn't even know the Crows existed when I joined them. I was but a boy of 7 when I was
Purchased?
For 3 sovereigns, I'm told.
Whoa.
Which is a good price, considering I was all ribs and bone and didn't know the pommel of a dagger from the pointy end. The Crows buy all their assassins that
Wow.
way. Buy them young, raise them to know nothing else but murder. And if you do poorly in your training...
Wow, that's harsh. So they bought him. They actually bought him when he was a 7-year-old boy and raised him and trained him as an assassin. So he never actually had a choice in the matter because he was just a little boy. Wow. Huh. And that system works?
Of course. You compete against your fellow assassins, and those who survive are rightfully proud of it.
Huh.
In Antiva, being a crow gets you respect. It gets you wealth. Gets you women. And men. Or whatever it is you might fancy. But that does not mean doing what is expected of you always. And it means being expendable. It's a cage, if a gilded cage. Pretty, but confined.
So even though it has its perks, it's still a bit of a prison, or you feel a bit like a prisoner. Mikey, will you quiet down? Stop with the barking. My goodness. He never stops barking in the camp. It's amazing. There's nothing out there. Stop it. Why didn't you just leave then?
And become the next mark for some up-and-coming crow? Not likely. The only way to leave is for them to think you're
really?
dead. And even then, you would
So you can't even leave. Wow.
As for what I'll do in the future, presuming that there is one, I truly can't imagine. It might be interesting to go into business for myself, for a change. Far away from Antiva, of course. For now, naturally, I go where you go.
Won't the crows eventually find you?
Eventually can be a very, very long time if one plays one's cards right. Come now, enough chit-chat. Talking about the crows summons them, you know. Any Antivan fishwife could tell you so. Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
Do you actually enjoy being an assassin?
And why not? There are many things to enjoy about being a crow in Antiva. You are respected, you are feared. The authorities go out of their way to overlook your trespasses. Even the rewards are nothing to turn your nose up
So you've
at.
said.
As for the killing part, well, some people simply need assassinating. Or do you disagree?
I actually, the point about some people sometimes just need assassinating, there are some pretty evil people in the world that might need to be assassinated. Look, I've seen enough different kinds of shows, like involving like federal agents or stuff, to know that sometimes you just gotta take out the bad guy. You know, I've seen Jack Bauer do it. Sometimes those bad guys just need assassinating. But let's ask him this. So, have you never killed an innocent?
Now there's an interesting word, innocent. How many men do you know who can claim to be truly innocent?
That's a good question
But
itself.
if you're talking generalities, such as children and relatives and bystanders
sort
and
of.
such, never on purpose. But it happens. It's unfortunate, but death comes
Yes,
to
it
us
does.
all. If not me, then some wasting disease, or a fall down the stairs,
Whoops.
or at the hands of a darkspawn.
Watch
It's
out
all
for that
relative,
banana peel.
man.
Whoops! Down. Oh man, down the stairs he went. You should have just watched out for that banana peel. That's a very practical attitude.
Death happens, as we like to say. And when I get paid for it, death happens more often. As far as enjoying the act of killing itself, why not? There is a certain artistry to the deed. The pleasure of sinking your blade into their flesh and knowing that their life is in your hands.
I take no pleasure in killing.
It is not pleasure, per se, nothing sexual. It is more a sense of satisfaction, a feeling of power. Does that make sense?
I think
No matter.
I can understand
There
what
are
he's
many
trying to
things
say.
I did not enjoy about being a crow, of course. Having no choice, being treated as an expendable commodity, the rules. Oh, so many
So
rules.
many rules.
But simply being an assassin, I like it just fine. I will continue to do it if I can, even if I am not a crow. Honestly, could you picture me doing something else?
Oh gosh. Yes, it is true that Zevran is a bisexual character in this game, and yes, you can initiate a gay romance with him if you like. Or you can initiate romance with him either way, no matter what gender you are, no matter what race you are. That, which I find a bit interesting, a dwarf with an elf, or an elf with a dwarf, you know, I just find that kind of funny. But, Let's see. Don't you have any other skills?
None that I wouldn't get into trouble for performing
jeez.
publicly. Of course, all these thoughts are moot. Chances are still good that you and I will perish, eaten by darkspawn or slain by the crows at some point. Very gruesomely, I imagine. But it is pleasant enough to chat about. Come, let's move on while our boots still have some wear on them.
Oh, he disapproved of that. Whoops.
Here I am.
Okay.
This
Tell
should
me a
be
little
good.
bit about
Go ahead.
your homeland of Antiva.
Oh, you wish to know about Antiva, do you? The only way to truly appreciate it would be to go there. It is a warm place, not cold and harsh like this Ferelden. In Antiva it rains often, but the flowers are always in bloom. Or so the saying goes.
The hills are alive now. You don't like Ferelden?
It is fine enough with its dogs and its
Everyone's
mud.
on about the dogs.
people are spirited, even if they can't tell the difference between an assassin and a
Every
mere
time I
killer.
ask someone about Ferelden, they always bring
hail
up
from
dogs.
the glorious Antiva city, home to the royal palace. It is a glittering gem amidst the sand, my Antiva city. Do you come from someplace comparable?
Oh my god. Look at this line. Of course, my mother was better than any gem. Oh my gosh. Oh, that is funny. I'll bet he would get a great kick out of that line, but I'll save the wittiness from this and just say, oh, I'm from Orzammar, of course.
Ah, yes, the city of lava and stone. It too is beautiful.
It actually is, yes.
Sad that it will never see sunlight or smell the salt of the
That
ocean.
is, yeah, that's true.
You know what is most odd? We speak of my homeland, and for all its wine and its dark-haired beauties and the lilo flutes of the minstrels, I miss the leather the most.
Is that some kind of euphemism?
It may as well be, but not this once, no. I mean the smell. For years, I lived in a tiny apartment near Antiva City's leather-making district.
Okay.
In a building where the crows stored their youngest recruits, packed in like crates. I grew accustomed to the stench, even though the humans complained of it constantly. To this day, the smell of fresh leather is what reminds me most
so it's a
of home more
nostalgic
than anything
smell
else.
for him. So even though it may be a bad smell, it's a smell that brings a bit of nostalgia for him, reminding him of his childhood. A cesspool, you think of home. So you sound like you've been away from home forever.
Oh, not so long, I know. It is my first time away from Antiva, however, and the thought of never returning makes me think of it constantly. Before I left, I was tempted to spend what little coin I possessed on leather boots I spotted in a store window. Finest Antivan leather. Perfect craftsmanship. Ah, but I was a fool to leave them. I thought, Zevran, you can buy them when you return as a reward for a job well done. More the fool I, no?
Your home is still there, Zevran.
True, and it's a comforting thought. One simply never knows what is to come next. How could I have suspected I would end up defeated by a handsome Grey Warden? A man who then spares my life? I could not.
Oh, gosh. I'll just ignore what he said and just say, you need to make the most of where you are.
Quite right you are. I see the Grey Wardens do not recruit
thank you.
fools. Now, if it is all the same to you, I would prefer not to speak more of Antiva. It makes me wistful and hungry for a proper meal.
Proves +4.
Here I am.
See if there's anything else.
Oh,
Nope.
This should be good.
Okay, so now... Oh. I just walked through the fire. Oops. Alright. We have these gifts for him and Win. Let's give him that.
You have excellent
And let's
taste.
give Win that.
Oh, my.
Alright. And then we will do what we did with Bodan, which is just get those again and give it to them again so that we can get them up to full approval.
If there's anything, I'm sure.
Alright. Sorry if some of you have a problem with this or if you consider it cheating or whatever. This is just something I do just to kind of help me out. So I can't get those again. Well, I will just wait. Maybe I'll take them to the chest at Warden's Keep, and then eventually come back, and I'm sure Bodan will have those again. Alright, so now that we've given those to them, let's talk to them again. Let's first talk to Wynn.
What's on your mind?
Let's see. Are you feeling better now?
Oh, yes, and thank you for asking. I'm feeling much better today.
Good to know. Please let me know if there's anything that I can do.
Well, thank you for your kindness, my dear. It certainly warms these rickety old bones.
+2. I'm
What's
such a
on your
nice
mind?
person. I'm a nice guy, I can't help it. I was just thinking about being a Grey Warden. You know, that conversation that we had earlier about what it means?
Is something troubling you?
I guess it's, I'm gonna start talking to her like she's my, my counselor now, since she's so wise. There are times that I wish I could be able to go back to my old life. It's true. He does wish that what happened with Balin and Trian never happened, that he was still a prince in Orzammar.
A Grey Warden should put aside the person that he used to be. It has shaped the person that he is, but he has become something greater. Grey Wardens have no titles. They owe no allegiance to a king or lord. They cannot serve one people. They must serve them all and protect them all. You are one of the 2 surviving Grey Wardens in Ferelden. You defend all of us, and much rests on your shoulders. It may not mean much to you, but thank you for having the courage to continue to fight.
Thank you, Wynn. I will be ready when the time comes.
And that gives me hope. Have you heard much about the Grey Wardens of old?
I know they were more respected in the old days.
It was said that watching the Wardens ride in on their white griffins,
Yes, the griffins.
was enough to rouse a weary heart and
The
put the
mighty
dance
griffins
back in
of
the
the
step of an
sky.
old man. The Grey Wardens were powerful, feared and respected, but they also inspired the common people. I remember a tale that was told to me many years ago.
Go on.
The Blight had ravaged the land for months, and the armies of the great kings had amassed for one last stand. As the sun burst through the clouds that boiled and churned in the dark sky above, it illuminated a vast, seething horde of darkspawn, with the archdemon at its head. And it was then, when courage seemed to fail, and all lost to death and despair, that the Grey Wardens came. They arrived with the beating of wings like mighty war drums, and stood before the armies
It's like
of
when
men.
Duncan was telling us something like this at the beginning of the game. And what happened then?
The Grey Wardens, grim and fearless, marched forth, ever between the men and the encroaching darkspawn. They formed a shield of their own bodies and held that line until the archdemon was dead and the last darkspawn lay trampled in the dirt. And then, demanding neither reward nor recognition for their sacrifice, the Grey Wardens departed. When the clouds finally rolled back and the sun shone full upon the blighted ground, the great kings knew that they had lost no men, and none of their blood had been spilled.
Wow. This story isn't about a specific battle, is it?
You are observant. This is a tale about no battle the Grey Wardens have fought, and yet about them all. They have always defended us from the Darkspawn, taking losses so we do not have to. People may have forgotten over the centuries, but nothing has changed. This knowledge has been blessing and burden to Grey Wardens past, and now it shall be your blessing and your burden. What's on your mind?
As a Grey Warden, I will never lead a normal life, will I?
No, you won't.
And that makes me sad.
You wonder sometimes,
Yes, I
don't
do.
you? If your life would be better if you weren't who you are.
Somewhat. More so if my life had not been affected by what happened with my brothers. It all goes back to he wishes that had just not happened. There's a part of him that really would love to have been able to remain who he was, until Balin did what he did. It's on my mind constantly.
When I was a young woman in the tower, I came to the realization that the circle would be my life, and I would know no other. Family, love, a simple life. These were things that others took for granted, that I would never have.
And this upset you?
It made me very moody. All I could think of was being trapped in that tower with no way out and no end in sight. I started hating my life and myself, and one night I found myself in the tower's chapel. I was seeking refuge, maybe answers.
Did you find anything?
I must have looked tearful or made some noise, because the revered mother came out and decided to speak to me. And because I had no one else to talk to, I talked to her. I must have said many silly things, but she told me that the Maker puts us all on our paths for a reason, and fighting our intended course is what causes so much anguish.
Puts us all on our paths for a reason, and fighting our intended course is what causes so much anguish. I think she's right.
I thought the old biddy was full of rubbish. I was 15, maybe 16, and I knew everything. So I left, but I always found my way back to that chapel. And as the years passed, I began to see the truth of her words. We were supposed to be polar opposites, mage and priest. But we weren't. There was much about us that
At
was
least
the
they
same.
could realize that, compared to all the other mages and Templars that never ever see that. I suppose priests have to give up a lot too.
The revered mother had lived in the chantry all her life, as I had been in the tower for all of mine. She taught me that you can find your family in the people around you, that you can love your work and find fulfillment.
Yeah, family's
in
not
duty.
only defined by blood.
And there is joy, even in self-sacrifice. If you put others before yourself, then their well-being is yours, and their happiness is your happiness.
It won't be easy to live that way.
You can scream and cry and be angry about life as a Grey Warden, or you can accept it and allow yourself to see the good in it. This
I
is
see
your
the good in it.
choice.
Yeah, he does see the good in it. He's not, going, oh, I wish I'd never. There's just a part of him that sometimes feel like he wished that it could be the way it used to be. But he's very proud and honored to be a Grey Warden. He has no shame in it whatsoever.
What's on your mind?
Let's see if I can ask her anything else.
I will
this.
answer
Nope,
to the
nothing
best
else.
of my...
All right, now let's talk to Zevran.
I've a question, if I may.
Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. I swore an oath to serve you, yes? And I understand the quest you're on, and this is all very fine and well. My question pertains to what you intend to do with me once this business is over with, as a point of curiosity.
You could go if you wanted.
Could I? And what if I didn't wish to leave?
I could always use a friend.
Indeed. I might even be glad to call myself such, come to think of it. It is good to know what my options might be, but that is for another time. For now, we have much to do, yes?
+8.
What say you?
Do you want to teach others to be an assassin now?
I suppose the crows are already furious, yes. What harm is another tweak to their nose? If you wish to be trained in the basics of an assassin, I can certainly show you. Or anyone else who is also a rogue. It shall be fun. I will make it fun. I promise.
And so that is how you would unlock the specialization to be able to choose becoming an assassin. See, that skill set, he would then be able to unlock that for you. You would be able to unlock that, and if you are playing a rogue like I am, you could then be able to do that yourself. If you want to be able to take up those skills.
What say you?
Oh gosh. Care to answer some questions?
By all means.
So tell me about your adventures.
My adventures?
Oh, I'm sure you
Hardly
have
an old
quite a
man
few.
just returned from across the ocean, am I? Should I shake my fist at nearby children while I talk about the good old days?
I'm not saying you're an old man. I'm just saying that you must have been traveling to many places performing assassination jobs, and you must have had quite a few adventures or tales to tell. You certainly talk like you've had adventures.
Falling down a flight of stairs is an adventure. Falling into someone's bed, also an adventure.
Hey now.
I am assuming what you're looking for are professional anecdotes.
Somewhat.
Let's see. My second mission ever for the Crows was a bit intriguing. I was sent to kill a mage who had been meddling in politics.
Oh, really? Huh. Meddling in politics, how?
How should I know? I got the impression it involved sex, but then I get that impression about most everything. Odd, really. As it turned out,
Certainly
the
seems to be a
maiden
trend with
question
you,
was
Zevran.
quite a delightful young woman. Long, divine legs, as I recall. I caught her
Oh
in a
my.
carriage on her way to escape to the provinces.
You-
After I killed her guard, she got down on her hands and knees and begged for her life. Rather aptly, I might add. So I joined her in the carriage for the night and left the next morning.
Oh, my goodness. What a player. And she didn't try to kill you?
Well, yes, twice, actually. Then she decided to try and use me instead.
Huh.
The woman had actually convinced me to speak to the Crows on her behalf. What can I say? I was young and foolish at the time. Then, as I was kissing her goodbye to return to Antiva city, she slipped on the threshold and fell backwards
Oh,
out of
man.
the carriage. Broke her neck. Shame, really, but at least it happened quickly.
Oh, wow. So you didn't actually kill her. Were you upset?
At first, yes. Well, not upset. Surprised is really a better word. Then I found out that she had told the driver to take her to Janellen instead. She had planned to lose me in the provinces. I would have looked very foolish to the Crows. As it was, my master was very impressed that I had done such a fine job of making it look like an accident. The Circle of Magi was unaware of foul play, and everyone was happier.
Great job, making it look like an accident. It actually was an accident. Oh, yeah, sure it was. These sort of things happen to you often?
Like being spared by a benevolent mark who then helps me escape from the Crows? Yes, it does seem to happen now and again, doesn't it? It was after that when I learned that one needn't let a pretty face go to your head.
Huh.
Professionalism was key. That's my moral of the day, you see.
A wise lesson to learn.
And one that not everyone learns, I'm sad to say. But that's enough tale spinning from me for the moment. Talking about the mage has made me a bit nostalgic, I'm afraid. Ah, the good old days.
Okay, +4.
What say you?
Let's see, what else? Is there anything else?
By all means.
I can ask him even more about his adventures.
Again? Well now, what might interest you, I wonder? Shall I describe the stages involved with Lanthrax poisoning? I watched a man go through all 7 once.
Oh, wow.